And are you refreshed? Good. Now what?
Hello. So when I'm here, I have a very easy time manifesting things, but when I'm at home, it doesn't go so smoothly.
Don't go home.
I like that answer.
So there are things there that when you give your attention to them, you introduce resistance into the equation. So can you look at them differently? Is it such a practiced way of looking at things that you can't get around it, or could you see it differently?
I could see it differently.
Can you identify what it is?
Well, I started meditating after the last cruise, and I had the experience of all hell breaking loose. So I stopped meditating, and it got better, but I think there's something I'm not doing right.
People ask us that. What that experience is when you taste the feeling of alignment, you become more intolerant of the feeling of not alignment. Doesn't mean you should stop meditating.
So are you saying that I've gotten into alignment and gotten used to feeling that, so...
You tasted it enough that you can't stand it when you're not there.
And that's why I'm experiencing
It
things.
awakened your guidance system.
Okay.
But there's not much use of a guidance system that you don't follow.
Right.
Esther and Kate, when Kate was little, and the first navigational systems were in Esther's car, and Kate was about 5 or 6 years old, maybe a little younger, and they would program Magellan to a destination, and then they would disobey her. She would turn right, and Esther would turn left, and Kate would just squeal with delight. And then Magellan would say, when possible, make a legal U-turn. And Esther would say, what do you think, Kate? And Kate would say, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Kate's mother wasn't really happy with Esther teaching Kate disobedience. But we're making fun, and we're making fun of all of you too, who can feel that this doesn't feel good, but you pursue it anyway. Here's the thing, we really want to help you let yourself off the hook. You're not pursuing it in defiance of your guidance system. That's really not what's happening. You're pursuing unwanted because momentum is taking you there. It's just the path of least resistance. The path of least resistance is the vibration you've practiced the most. It's like asking water to not run downhill when that's the direction that it wants to go, you see. And so you've got to find a way of getting out ahead of it. You can't really reverse course in the middle of negative momentum any more than you could stop the car at the bottom of the hill that you've set loose. You need to stop it earlier.
Okay, so this is a discussion we actually had at dinner the other night, was if we have a lot of negative momentum going and then we get in alignment, is it possible to stop, or do we still have to experience some of this negative stuff we already did?
What happens is, let's say that you have some negative momentum going, but you get in alignment, and then from that place of alignment, your inner being will introduce scenarios to you to help you bridge that gap. That's the way that it works. So your set point on the formerly really resistant subject becomes less and less resistant. But it usually doesn't happen fast enough for most of you. And so we've written lots of processes to help you move your way back up the emotional scale from a place of not feeling good. We talked about just reach for a thought that feels better. Try to find the good feeling place. And a lot of you had some success if the negative emotion was not that strong, if it wasn't a subject that mattered that much to you, then it was easier for you. But when you really, really, really want something and it's not coming and you're focused in opposition to that, there's a lot of negative momentum. And so the way that works best to clean up that vibration is to get out ahead of it. In other words, to set your positive course before you step on the landmine. And then when you step on the landmine, it has less impact in your experience. Sometimes you avoid the landmines altogether if you have enough positive momentum going. You want to talk about the subject? So far in this gathering, we've been talking about concepts and laws. We haven't had too much practical application. You want to talk about something?
Well, what I experience is I was hoping to get a new job before the Alaska cruise, and everything was going smoothly. I get off the ship and find out I didn't get it. And then there was another job that I wanted, and I didn't get it.
So is your assumption that something went wrong? I didn't get this thing I wanted? Or could your assumption be, it must not have been quite right for me?
I'm trying to go that way, is it wasn't quite right.
Let's talk about it. What was the job?
It was a position doing digital management. Maybe it was because I was trying to get out from under my current boss that I don't like, rather than going for the job that would be better.
Well, for sure, that's part of it. But what is your current job?
My current job is data management under somebody. I had a really great boss who retired a couple months ago.
Don't get too carried away with your answer. Just give us as short of answers as you can. So what is or was your current job?
Data management.
And what is the new job that you were reaching for that you found out that you didn't get?
It was digital management.
And why is one more enticing than the other?
Some of it was title.
So it wasn't so much about how you would feel while you were doing it. It was how you would be revered?
Yes.
And how you would be paid?
Yes.
Would it require more responsibility?
Yes.
Would it require you to be in the position that the person that you didn't like was in?
No.
So what do you think was the resistance? Because there clearly is some. Resistance not a bad thing. Resistance means that it's not the path of least resistance when there's resistance. And so what is it about that you could take as a good thing rather than a bad thing? What might have you been moving toward with that you didn't want to move toward? We know you know.
Maybe the more responsibility?
Maybe.
Or could it have been that the experience interviewing me was getting ready to interview for a job that would be a better fit?
Well, that is true too. If this one isn't quite what you're looking for, then there is always something that is better. But there's another piece in this that we want to talk about here, and that is trying to wring out from the universe, trying to get the universe to yield it to you in a timely manner. A sort of urgency of it needs to be this one. What's that about? Why did it need to be this one? The universe has already lined up the perfect job. You're just not lined up with it. You're not a cooperative component. So what do you think is off in your vibration? Look at it this way. If you can assume, and you can, that you've done enough living of enough life in enough jobs that you have asked with precision for something that you really want. So let's just assume that you really want is already lined up for you, and that all of the cooperative components have already been gathered. They're all in place. So what do you think is going on within you that keeps you from cooperating with this?
It's probably the urgency, since I am unhappy with my current job and the current person I work for.
So when we talk about your point of attraction, are you saying to us, my current point of attraction does not jive with what I want. I wonder why I can't get that?
Yes.
Well, this is where you began this conversation. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are your choices?
Get out ahead of it, meditate.
For sure, but what does that mean?
Find things to like about my current job.
Well, when you're satisfied with where you are, with an eagerness for change and for more, that really is a non-resistant place to be. The reason most people don't do that is because they really don't believe the laws of the universe as we explain them, and they are afraid that if they find positive aspects about their current job, the universe will stick them with it. The universe is not your mother. The universe knows what you're asking for. So finding any reason about your job or any other subject that causes you to be a cooperative component with your inner being. Remember, this is the piece that most people are missing, and you're giving us the perfect opportunity to explain it clearly. Your finding a positive emotion is about opening the doors or finding the PIN number to all kinds of things that you want. You don't have to find positive aspects about your job, although it certainly would be helpful. You could find positive aspects about anything. You could use any excuse in the world to feel like your inner being feels, and you would then be a cooperative component to what your inner being knows, to who your inner being is, and then you would feel the impulse to apply or to go or to be somewhere where someone is talking about something. In other words, there are so many paths to what you want, but you block them all when you stand in defiance of the new path as you are clinging to the old path through your attention to it.
Okay, that makes sense.
It is actually more difficult. It would be more difficult for you or almost anyone to find alignment with your inner being while you're looking at a job that you've already decided that you don't like. In other words, there are hundreds of subjects that would be easier for you to use as your way of alignment.
Thinking about my dog like the last person.
But why does that not feel like the best option? It is, but why does it not feel to a human? Why does that not feel like the best option?
Seems too easy.
Yeah, it's too easy. It's not on the subject. It's not applying yourself correctly. And you have been criticized for things like that your entire life. When you daydreamed in school, when you changed the subject with your mother. People get after you for that. Want your attention right here. Wait. No. Don't you change the subject. Don't you change the subject. I want to talk about this infraction right here, right now. Don't you dare change the subject. Change the subject. There's nobody bossing you around anymore. You've just got all those people in your head who bossed you around, and you're trying to jump through the hoops that they demanded that you jump through. We just want to ask you, how'd that work out?
Not very well.
When someone demanded something from you, did you feel cooperative?
No.
Or did you use everything in your being to be as least cooperative as possible while you pretended to be cooperative? Watch your teenagers. They'll go through the motions of what you say, but they will make sure that you don't really get what you want. Employees too. They've got their agenda, you've got yours. When you speak what you want and it doesn't jive with what they want, oh, they'll play along. They'll give you lip service. They'll pretend that they're giving you what you want while they're really getting what they want, you see. Everyone is selfishly oriented. You have to just accept that. You have to embrace it. You have to adore that in all the others, that they're getting what they want. But you have to be selfish enough to get what you want too. You've been trained to be of service. And the best way to be of service is to be tuned in to what true energy and life force is. But a lot of people have come to believe that service and sacrifice are the same thing, that I serve you with the stuff I don't use for myself. I'll sacrifice my well-being in service of you. And there's quite a bit of that wadded up in your vibration. It's not unusual, but there's quite a bit of it there. Do you feel, now, we're not asking from your head, we're asking from your heart, do you feel like you should get what you want?
Yes.
If you had a choice of working or not working, which would you choose?
Not working.
So you don't really feel that you can get what you want, do you?
True.
You think you have to work because it's the means to an end, but do you believe that the universe is helping you out, or do you believe that there's a price to pay?
I would have said I didn't think there was a price to pay, but seeming like I do believe that there is a price.
What are some of the prices that people pay in order to get other things that they want? So let's talk about
Money.
In order to get money, what price are you paying?
Your time.
But what's time? When you're an eternal being, we just want you to consider this. If you are finding pleasure in this time, are you paying a price?
No.
Ooh. So if you were really well matched to your work,
It wouldn't feel like work.
it would be pleasurable and you wouldn't be paying a price. But, human one, if you're not paying a price, do you deserve what you get? We're really asking you how you feel about this.
It seems too easy again.
Yeah. There's a part of you that is asking for a job you don't even want so that you can pay a price to get the money that you do want because you don't believe it should be fun and easy to get the money.